Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Walking 90. This is your host, as always, Elliot Barr, the guy that will put his child up for adoption if he does not come out the womb with athletic ability. 100%. I own that. 100%. In this week's episode, guys, we got a lot to talk about. We got games that probably caused the table to be more chaos than what it is. We got goal scorers that's probably way too dependent on the team. We got a coach of the month for a team that we did not expect to win coach of the month. We got a team announcement. We got a team that we thought would be a team announcement, but it's not a team announcement. And yeah, we had a lot of crazy stuff. But before we get to all that, let me introduce my co-host. Joining me is the man that sold one jersey to get another jersey that did not involve drug money, Mr. Kyle. Kyle, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm back. It's been a couple weeks that I've not been here trying to be Father of the Year. So it's good to be back, even if you are thinking that 5K for a child is realistic.
More than what I got in my bank account right now. I just need him to tax season. After that, he can do whatever he wants. Also joining me is the guy that's about to have a baby and drinking hot tea. It's Mr. Chip. How are you doing, sir?
Of all the intros I could get, that's the best one I could get right now, I suppose.
Pretty much.
Look, the bar was low, Chip, and you actually got one of the better ones.
I know.
Also, joining us is the guy that you probably haven't seen. Like you probably seen his tweets a whole bunch because he does all the stats. At the least, need to fucking pay him. It's Mr. Brandon Mays. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. I'm competing with Kyle right now for Dad of the Year. I'm not sure. I think he's in the lead still, but
nah, dude, you're actually Father of the Year. Like you have not been present because you're. Kyle will have the kids on.
I am half-assing like, both, so
eat a goldfish.
Oh man, I'm really hot. My AC went out like this evening, so I'm like sweating right now. But other than that, fantastic.
You in that South Carolina heat?
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's why I couldn't do slavery.
Oh, you know what,
I've told my grandma this, and like I straight up told him like, y'all some good ones, bro. Because ain't no way they could have had me out of the field. I would have snitched on everybody to be in the house.
Y'all have a good night.
I think it's bedtime. I hear a kid.
Jackson, that would have been me. I would have been hugging master. Like, don't let me go.
$5,000, you said? $5,000? Okay. I'm over.
They cannot.
Everybody, master.
See, this is what I miss, and maybe I should have missed this episode too at this rate.
Well, this is what happens when you let us sit backstage for like an hour. Yogi just gets all riled up about something, and all of a sudden we're already in like mid-show weirdness, and we haven't even started yet.
That's not on me. I was on time for once.
It was me.
I am never late. Y'all are just early.
You said a few minutes you were done with that meeting, and you turned up like 15 minutes later. At least Brandon said 3 to 5 minutes, and he was within that time frame.
Ebony, look, it's the rule of thumb with Ebony. If Ebony tell you, "Oh, I'm gonna be there in like 7 to 10 minutes," just push it to an hour. She's not gonna be there in time,
our first game of the evening.
No, bro. That's how Ev is. Ev will literally be like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. 40 minutes later. Yo, what's going on? What I missed? Everything. But, guys, we got a lot to talk about. I think, would you guys say this is probably the best week of soccer we've had in USL League One? Like, there were some really good games.
Yeah.
Some really good goals, really good games.
I was going to say, there wasn't a boring game. No, I think about it and look back.
No. Shocking.
Was not a boring game. Every game has something on the line, oddly enough. And every game possibly led to the hype, which is also weird in USL League One. But I say let's start out first. Richmond 2, South Georgia Tormenta 2. I got the chance to see Sterling and Kingsford in person. Let me just say this. Them boys can dribble. They got all the skills and more. And oddly enough, I think Richmond and Tormenta are the same team. There's not a lot of difference in the two. What do you guys think on this game?
This game was weird because I feel like both teams could feel like they should have won, but both teams are like a draw seems fair, but both teams had chances to get the win. I don't know if I would say they're the same team. I feel as though Tormenta started as this fortress of you're not going to score on us. I don't care what you do. And Richmond has always been, you can have the ball, we're going to counter. But it kind of seems to have switched where Richmond is now not necessarily like they're turning into, it's kind of like Tucson of last year where we're just going to get a set piece, we're going to get a corner, and we're going to score it. And you're not going to be able to stop it because we have a dude that is 6'4" in Jalen Chrysler who could just outjump everyone.
Yeah.
So that's the funny. So Richmond came off that 3-0 win, and like I said, they were going to score early, and they did it again. They came in and scored early, and then all of a sudden it was like, where'd that defense go? Y'all were kind of feeling it, and then it was kind of like, I've seen this before, like not closing games, Yeah. So I don't know if this is kickers got tired at the end or South Georgia or like finally remembered that they're good.
I mean, South Georgia took 21 shots.
Yeah.
I mean, like also like the thing about it was this was the kicker's third game in the span of a week.
Yeah.
Like so tired legs on top of that, but then also like the thing that we pressed Darren on in the post game match was like his substitutes because I don't know if any of y'all noticed it. Ethan Bryant and Leo both came off. And he put the coat on. So he took off pretty much a box-to-box midfielder, had two double pivots, and that's where the goal of the second half of Tormenta came from. They just pinned us in because Darren just banked in, Like, I had no problem with the subs. It just came at halftime where you already had momentum, and Tormenta had to sub off 2 guys because of injuries. Like, that was kind of like the issue there. I want to say this again, and Chip, I hate to say it, you were probably right. I think my pick for Pablo Yara is being one of those elite goalkeepers. It's not there. And I know Matt is going to kill me when I say this, so I'm going to prepare myself for it on Sunday. I'm slowly starting to take a care out of it. I'm slowly starting to, man. I'm slowly starting to. I know I'm talking crazy, but what are your guys' thoughts on like not final thoughts, but what are your guys' thoughts and everything? Like who impressed you?
Well, because I would say that about Akira is he's done a lot. I mean, it's just like kind of like the new who Akira debate from last year on who's the better keeper. It's like, well, Akira is facing a lot of shots. He had 21 shots, 21 total shots in this game were peppered on him, and they're gonna go in, and especially with like the big splashy names that they brought into Tormenta to score. Like getting scored on by Tormenta isn't really a bad thing this year. They've struggled the past couple of games, but like you said, tired legs for the kickers. South Georgia came in, needed a result, and they just peppered you guys with shots and found 2 that went in. And I don't know. I don't think it's time to sell stock on Fitzgerald yet, but I would say
selling stock on him. But I'm also like, I mean, let's be real. If I'm correct, he's the oldest player in the league.
So you're saying to kind of do what Greenville somewhat did with Dallas J and Christensen last year.
Is Pekka older?
I don't think so.
He's
I think Akira's the oldest. I feel like that.
I think he's 34, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't think there's anyone older in the league than Akira.
I'm going to do some real lazy stat analysis because the league doesn't let us have stats. If I look at the FOTMob rankings, which are activity-based rankings, it's not based on anything besides like what people did, like stat-wise. All the little green boxes for Richmond are the defenders. All of their offensive players have orange boxes.
Well, FOTMob also gave Cyrus Rod a player of the match when he was the reason 2 of the goals against Charlotte happened. So I'm
not saying this is.
He
I'm
was
not
a
saying
great
this
assist.
is.
He had a great assist.
He had 1 assist because of a great work by. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not saying that they're great. Like I said, this is very lazy stat analysis. But all that really means is that those guys were busy. They won a lot of tackles. They passed a lot. Like they were creating numbers for the FOTMob to put into their little model.
Richmond defense literally be like, we are fighting for our fucking lives out here.
I mean, Georgia had 60% of the possession in the entire game. You guys took on 21 shots. Like, yeah.
But the crazy thing about it is, if you watch that game, you would never think like Tormenta dominated.
Well, and here's the other thing too is who scored the goals for you guys? Richie, who's a left back, and then Chrysler, who's a center back.
That was good.
Yeah.
Like, those aren't the guys that should be scoring goals.
No, it's gonna be.
Like they can, but like
Is
one goal by a
Terzaghi only going to
defender.
score against NCFC? Is that the thing? Is he only going to score against us?
I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I'm also of the component of like maybe give Terzaghi a rest and play Bentley Central, just so he's not playing
Against
every game
Charlotte?
week in, week out. No, hell no.
That's your next game.
I'm not. No, I'm talking about more so about like a Tucson. Let Bentley start that. Hell no.
I'll say I really think Akira is still. I'm with him 100%. I don't think
I'm with him. I'm just like
no. I don't think he's. So I'm looking here at American Soccer Analysis, and so his goals to XG basically like how many goals he's conceded compared to his expected goals that he's supposed to concede. He's supposed to concede almost 11, and he's only conceded 8, which is the second worst. I think. Let's see here. It's the second worst in the league. Only the Tucson goalkeeper is supposed to have conceded more. Yet he has the highest differential other than Paul Christensen. The Tucson keeper, on the other hand, is on the other end of the league.
Yo, ain't gonna lie, son. That's a bad goalkeeper, yo. That man is bad.
Well, I'll say I feel like it's hard to be. It's really hard to be a Tucson goalkeeper. It's the same thing last year. Like and granted, I won't go into all that right now. But it's the same exact thing happened last year. They put him out to dry a lot, but also I think I don't know if they're getting it right in that regard.
They leave that man out to dry. Maybe so, but nonetheless, this game's in 2-2. Both teams kind of had a chance to either go into first place. Both teams were in first place at one point in this game. Both teams now end up in fifth, sixth. Which, by the way, like Chip was joking on me before. I've done the points per game. I figured out who's at what, so we'll talk about that after we go through all the games. But the next game up, Brandon, we're going to talk about your boys in Greenville 2, Chattanooga 0. Guys, I think we need to push away the panic button because I pull it out every week because I want to cause chaos. But if you are Jimmy O'Blainer right now at this point, what are you?
I was gonna say, who's gonna tell him?
Oh God!
Yeah.
Charlotte.
I put Chattanooga too. Charlotte. We did beat Chattanooga too, and they did lose.
They did. It still works out. Yeah. My fault. Chip, that was you. Okay, Greenville, Charlotte, 2-0. Oh, this has been a long day.
Yeah, that game. After Ibarra went out in the 22nd minute, that game was over. So I was looking at this a couple weeks ago. I actually profiled Trezor Mbuyu like last week. And for me, he's I think one of the best players in the league right now. And the thing about, he was obviously injured. I completely forgot about that. He's been injured since before the Ford Madison game.
How long is he injured for?
I don't know how long he's injured for.
Let him play this week.
But that means that now their best creator in Miguel Ibarra is down, and their best attacker in Trezor Mbuyu is down. The thing about that is that he accounted for over half of their touches in opposition boxes while he was playing. So like they lose half of basically their presence in opponents' boxes now that he's gone. And Bennett, he has let me take a look here. I put all this out the other day. He basically has an incredible non-penalty XG, like per shot. It's like 0.2. So like he's in positions where it's like 1 in 5 shots he's going to score, which is crazy because like the only other person in the league who's even close to that, there's 2, Trezor Mbuyu and Garrett McLaughlin. And the thing about Corey Bennett is that he hasn't scored but I think 1. And I just, based off of what I've seen and like also the numbers, that's one of those things where it's tough because he's getting into really good spots, but he's not taking good shots at all. Like for example, he shot one right into Christensen's hands on one of their 5 shots total on Saturday. And so it's tough for them because they've got a lot of good players like Lucetta and Corey who are getting into good positions and are getting decent amount of touches, but there's just that conversion just isn't there right now. And without those two, now again, there's the other guy that they just brought in from
the Ukrainian winger.
Yeah. And he looks really solid. I mean, he played in the Ukrainian Premier League, like he played against Shakhtar on the regular. And so like this guy, he's got some solid experience, but he looks pretty similar to Trezor as well in terms of like play style. So he could step in and do really well. But on Saturday, they just didn't look up to it. They lost Miguel Ibarra. They had a couple of academy players in there, and they just didn't look like they could progress the ball to save their lives. And I don't remember the stats exactly, but I feel like let's take a look and go back.
I do think it's crazy that they are the second place team in the league, and they have a 0 goal differential.
Well, I mean, that's always been their thing all year. Like we said, I think everyone here has played
all gas,
Charlotte.
no brakes.
Yeah,
we haven't yet. Our first game against Charlotte is Juneteenth.
Yeah, and Kyle, have y'all played them yet?
Yeah, Fort Madison lost 2-1 on just sloppy defending.
Same.
And I think all of us have said when we played them is like this team can go forward, but in the back half, it is what it is.
Yeah,
like they
will score, but this is 13-14 Liverpool levels of great attack, terrible defending.
Yeah. So who has the highest goal differential in the league right now? Don't look.
Richmond.
Yeah, 5. It's 5, 4, 3, then a bunch of people hanging out at 0, 1, and negatives.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. But I mean, I think
Richmond was held by the whole that first game,
3, right?
Yeah, that whole first game.
That 3-0 win, and then that other win.
In Central Valley Fuego, that's all that Tormenta game.
I've seen team sides at -7.
It should be higher,
bro.
It should be higher. It'll be higher.
Don't worry, weekend. Bro. We gonna talk about Tucson because
But yeah, back to Greenville. It felt like more kind of like what Brandon was saying. Charlotte didn't look up to it, and for Greenville, it's definitely a matter of when they would score, not if. Just the constant pressure they were putting under, the constant. It seemed as though Greenville was starting to find the rhythm. I don't know what the hell pissed off Don Smart because after that penalty.
Oh, so it was hilarious. The goalkeeper Noah, he got loaned in. I think he's fantastic from Miami, but he was giving him a hard time. Evan had taken the penalties, taken the ball for the penalty to kind of protect Don so that he doesn't get a bunch of trash talk. Well, the ref doesn't really pay attention to after the fact. Don gets the ball from Evan. The goalkeeper walks back up after the ref goes to deal with somebody else, and Noah starts talking a little bit of trash. It looks like, and then the ref tells him to go back to his line, and then Noah is sitting there yelling and pointing to the right side of the goal, like put it here, put it here, put it here, put it here. Like I think he yelled it like 8 or 9 times, and he's just screaming at Don to put it to the right. And so, of course, as soon as Don puts it to the left and scores, he's just like, and he has to get up in his face and show him the badge. And
I was gonna say, I don't know what, Don Smart is a pretty chill dude. So the fact that he was just talking trash to someone's face, I was like, what the hell happened?
I mean, they even shook hands afterwards. I think they were just messing with each other. Yeah. And so it wasn't like anything, no animosity there. It was just they're both
playing defensive mid this year.
He's playing like a box-to-box midfielder. Yeah, it's crazy.
This man has went from a striker to a winger to an attacking midfielder to a goddamn CDM. And
he's probably one of the best in the league.
Bro, what?
Maybe not overall, but progression-wise,
honestly, that's probably the best thing for him.
It's crazy. It's been that's why we've had so many shots. We have the most shots in the league. We're not putting them in the goal.
Well, there is a guy that hasn't scored a league goal yet that might have something to say for it.
Yeah. It's true. We'll see this weekend.
Well, it's going to haunt me. It's going to come back and haunt me. I know
it. That's hilarious. Bro.
I'm gonna be at a wedding, so I'm not gonna be there. And I can just imagine checking my phone. I'm gonna be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Hey,
who knows? We'll see. Y'all look good right now.
Kyle, if that man scores a hat trick against y'all, Hey, bro, you might not be able to come back on the show for a week.
I'm coming back. I'm gonna tell my wife to put the kids to bed. I'm coming on the show.
You know what? I'm gonna take a nice sabbatical. Not gonna say where I'm going,
bro. If that man scores a hat trick or score a brace against, hey, Kyle.
No, if it's a hat trick, I'm going on a sabbatical. I don't know how long.
Gio's gonna drive to your house and just like stand out there with like a megaphone and just.
You know what? I would be okay with that because then I'll finally get to see Gio.
Exactly. Wait. If he scores a hat trick, can Gio come on here instead?
Oh sure.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll take a week or two off.
Hey,
I'll show up for the Juneteenth stuff, and after the Juneteenth stuff, I'll leave.
Hey, Ford Madison man cannot talk anything to me if that man go into that stadium and score a hat trick. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no excuses.
I need the Greenville fans to travel, and then as he scores goals, to just go, did he ever do that for you?
For like the first 2 months.
He did. Yeah, he did pretty well for the first 2 months.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. I know early on we all kind of talked about it, but Greenville, are we high up on them now? Like, do we feel like Harkes got this team kind of settled and figured out now?
Harkes is about to leave anyway, so
yes, chaotic energy. Let's go.
I think so. From a Greenville fan personally, I think there's still a little bit to do. We are.
Y'all are good.
We're fantastic up until the final product, and I think part of the problem is we're just one. I don't think we're putting good enough chances quite into the area just yet. We're creating a lot of chances, but they're low quality. Like we're averaging, we've taken the most shots in the league, but our average XG per shot is about 0.85, which is like the only people who are worse are Madison and Tucson. Yeah. And so we've taken literally the most shots in the league. And if we're putting those, if we're in better positions, those are, that's unbelievable. But they're not in good positions when they shoot. And so, the player on our team with the highest XG is our 6, Aaron Walker. So, that's a problem to be solved. I think it's obviously getting better. There's some combinations happening and they're experimenting with new things. And so things are happening, and I think things are growing. I think we've got a lot of new players in too, and a lot of injuries. And so once those things kind of come together, I think it'll be a lot better. There's a couple of things that I think will continue to change over the next couple of weeks. They seem like they'll change, but everything literally up to scoring goals is like pristine.
True.
I'll give it a couple more matches because we'll see. Because they go to Madison on the road, they go to Omaha on the road after that in back-to-back weeks. That'll be interesting to see. And then they'll come home against NoCo and then play Wednesday against North Carolina. So I'd say by the end of June, I think I'll have a better idea of what Greenville is. I'm probably feeling as a playoff team at the very least. How high up, I don't know yet, but I would say playoff team as of right now.
Right.
It really just depends if we can score.
Yeah, I'd say every team has a lot of work to do, but I think Greenville might have a lot less work to do than we all thought. And, if you compare them with like a Charlotte Independence who's been riding high for the entire season up until the last week or two, who would I rather be right now? I'd rather be Greenville than Independence right now. Independence, all 12 of their fans coming over to take out over Greenville.
Boy,
getting into that. I'm not touching that.
Oh, can I?
Yes, you can.
Man. I'm so ready. No, man. You know what? No. You know what? I'm gonna save it because what? They come see us. They come see us in a couple weeks.
Yeah, save it for them.
You know what?
I'll
save it.
I'll do it for you, Brandon. The picture that they posted, everyone in the joke I had online was everyone in this photo is making the expression I make when I talk to my mother-in-law. Like it just completely blank. No one's home. Like it's just, they do not look happy to be there. They look like they're doing their taxes.
They look like they didn't get tickets for the Charlotte FC game. It was like, fuck it, we got to go to Greenville.
But it was free. It was free ticket. It was a free bus and a free ticket, and they still didn't pack the bus.
I'm just saying, if I had a free ticket and a free bus, I would look way more intoxicated.
But remember, they invented soccer in the Carolinas. And with that topic,
hold on before we keep going. Yeah. Oklahoma is up 6-2 on Texas, and they're about to win national championship. Keep going.
Oh,
I was like, what? Oklahoma? What do you mean USL Championship's going on Thursday?
Softball.
Texas? What is
Why are we talking about college football? And then I realized it's softball.
Ross in the comments pointed out they had 48 fans that said they were going to go on the bus. I don't know.
And
if
then they
there's that
realized
many.
MLS was in town.
I'll say, I think to give I like to be balanced. They had drums. Like when they got in there, you could hear them for the most sometimes. And I mean, they were there.
I mean, everyone can hear the mentally challenged.
They were there. They just didn't take it over.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't quite to the extent that they claimed by any means, but they were there and they were cheering on their team, even to the end. It did get a little quiet.
Well, let's just admire the hustle of the people who apparently use it as an excuse to get a free trip to Greenville to go and drink beers and then go back to the stadium.
Hey, that's a great place to go.
Just go down to Greenville, hang out at the Whale for a couple hours, hop back on a bus and go home. That doesn't sound too bad of an afternoon to me.
No.
Doesn't at all. Does not at all. All right. Well, the game that I was alluding to that I got mixed up with this game that we were just talking about, Chattanooga, nothing. Union Omaha 1. Chip, I'm going to let you take the lead on this and explain to us how in the Sam Blue hell y'all scored a goal in the second minute. Chattanooga did diddly dog shit.
Well, it's because Brito's a magician. That's how. Brito got goal of the week from that goal. It was club members, and we were talking about this game beforehand. And I was saying to anybody that would listen, like, man, Chattanooga's a tough out. We've never won there. We've never beaten Chattanooga. Like, this place has just been a house of horror for us. Yada, yada, yada. And then we scored in like a minute and a half. And so what followed was a lot of heart palpitations. They, not because they like did anything, but more because that they're the team that has traditionally scored so late. And so we have a 1-0 lead in the 80th minute. And every time they get the ball out, I'm like, shit, here it is. But, man, they were, I would say toothless, but they had 12 shots on goal versus our 7. They had the ball for 69% of the game. Nice. But, that's kind of what Omaha wanted, right? Like, we don't want the ball. We got our goal. We're going to sit back. We've got a pretty tough defense. You can go against us, and we're going to try to counter you. So it was just really surprising that it was a game that seemingly went our way. And I think a lot of that just is scoring early. I'm trying to find the cards because that was the big surprise, is that Omaha had more cards than Chattanooga did. That's honestly the biggest surprise besides us winning is they did that. But yeah, that Chattanooga just didn't look great, and Omaha didn't look great either, but Omaha didn't have to look good because we scored in the first minute, and then we just got to say, well, we're just going to hang out here in the Chattanooga heat and hope you guys don't score on us late. It was kind of like that NoCo game, but the only difference being we scored. Like, it was not a fun game. It was not a pretty game. You don't want to show that game to your friends and be like, man, look at this league we're in. But they got the result.
That's all that matters. You get the win.
All you need is one goal to win.
You're right. And
you guys think Chattanooga's kind of regressed to the mean of where they were last year? Like, I know that the prevailing theme that we're talking about last year is like they're scoring these goals late. They're like 1-2 on top of the table. Chattanooga's a hard place to go into, and they're not necessarily getting those goals late. Do you think they've kind of regressed to the mean? I mean, we know Chattanooga's had to deal with injuries, but injuries kind of going into week 10, but kind of like the 10th game of the season now at this point. I don't think we can really use that excuse as much. Like, if you're Jimmy O'Blada, like, what are you doing right now outside of eating more tuna and peanut butter sandwiches to fix what's going on in Chattanooga?
Maybe I was going to say, because Chattanooga also early in the season, it's not like they were winning, but they were also scoring ridiculous bangers week after week. So it's kind of one of those where it's like, okay, can you score a goal that's not like goal of the week contender at some point? And I think it is starting to get to that point where, okay, maybe they're not going to score a banger every week. And I think that's starting to show the regression. Obviously, yeah, the injuries play a part. It's kind of like the inverse of Greenville, where it's like, I thought they would be fun. I thought they would be better, and they just have tailed off. And I mean, they're still likely a playoff team, but it's not looking great. I'm trying to check their upcoming schedule just to make sure, like, okay, what's going on here? They also are terrible on the road, so that doesn't help their case at all. Yeah, they've had three. I mean, they played three good teams as well. Like, played Greenville, played Fuego, drew 2-2, lost to Greenville, who's playing really well right now, lost to Richmond, who's playing really well right now, lost to Omaha, playing really, like, it's not like they're losing. It's not like the Tucson game where it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, how did you lose to this team? It was kind of they're playing good teams, and we'll see how the next, I think this weekend will be a better case against Fuego of, okay, is this just like a blip, or is it like, or is there a bigger concern?
So, I ain't gonna lie, man. That Tuesday game really was the turning point for them, because since that Tucson game, they have only won one game.
And that was the thrashing of NoCo.
Yeah.
But look at who they have next. They have, like you were alluding to, Fuego, Charlotte, Tucson, NoCo. Those are the rest of the games in June. And on a previous pod, we said, how many points do you need to really cement yourself into the playoff race? Is this like a must-win all June games to really cement yourself as
no, because
I favor them over Tucson, I favor them over Charlotte. I think the only toss-up really is Fuego and NoCo.
And both those are on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if they beat Tucson and Charlotte, they'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
I mean,
now, if they lose to Tucson again and struggle against Charlotte and don't pick up points on the road, then it's a whole different story.
But if they struggle against Charlotte, that's one of those things where, like, something's up, because that's the kind of stuff they thrive on. Disorganizing already stretched defenses, and with their high press and, winning the ball up high. And I think, they've played 4 different people in the striker position this season already, and only one of them has more than 10 shots this season. I think that's a big part of it. And they've kind of switched the way they play, in terms of, like, they were putting in a ton of crosses this year, putting in less crosses. They were putting in a ton of, like, balls in central areas, overloads, and those have diminished significantly. And they've been carrying the ball a lot more instead of passing. And part of that is that, when you've got Rafael Mintigan on the field, he's going to carry the ball more just in general. And you don't have a passer like Ricky Ruiz anymore or Jonathan Ricketts. And so you're missing a ton. And I think the big thing for me is if I'm Chattanooga right now, I'm figuring out that striker position right now. They don't have anybody who is holding that line in that spot. Rafael Mintigan's fantastic. Glendress is fantastic. Teixeira is fantastic. Biment is a fantastic player from what I've heard. I've only seen, a couple 100 minutes of him. But for some reason, none of that's clicking, and they're not getting good shots off. And I mean, they don't just look toothless. I mean, they just don't even look like they can score a goal inside the box, unless it's a set piece.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's really, like, nerve-wracking. Like, we'll talk about it coming up, but to answer your point, that Charlotte game is really the game that I'm looking at out of those 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If that Charlotte game is concerning, we might have to bring Jimmy on this show and figure out, like, hey, boy, stop eating them tuna and peanut butter sandwiches. Like, they ain't working on that.
To bring Jimmy on and do a little seance, we'll just each have, like, a little candle and we'll form a circle in the middle.
Help them out.
I will give Omaha's defense credit, though. They held on. They kind of like what they made Chattanooga look toothless, and having 22 clearances, having 17 tackles, and winning most of those tackles. That's very impressive. So
they parked the bus and they did it very well.
Right.
Kudos. Like,
they managed the game as well as you could ask a team that scores in the second minute to manage a game.
Like, save your legs, boo. You got it.
And honestly, with
don't worry, Mo. Don't worry, Meza. We'll just launch it to you, and you can hopefully do the rest. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I think too, if you look at, like, our history with Chattanooga, that's maybe the best thing. If you're Mims, what's the point of showing off? Get in there, get the goal, and just, like, let's just hold on. Let's hold on.
Right.
Let's not lose.
Bro, like Chattanooga is a house of horrors for how many teams here? Raise your hand if Chattanooga is a house of horrors for your team.
Well, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they just
right?
Fort Madison just draws at this point against when they're in Chattanooga. So
how we know what y'all do?
Because everyone.
that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like, it's not a house of horrors when all it is a draw. Like,
Right.
Yeah, Madison, some Monet looking motherfuckers.
yeah, it's Greenville's Greenville's the house of horrors for Madison.
Right. I don't know, man.
Look at Crew 2. Good for them.
Yeah.
Crew need to hurry up and call up Nicoletto. That's why I need so I can get this jersey.
They might call up Noah Fuson at this rate.
Yeah, really.
So we'll move on from Chat. Congrats. You know, got a win against Chattanooga, a team that they definitely needed. Kyle, do you want the solo cam?
No, I don't think I need a solo camp for this. I mean, it's Tucson, so like I'm not getting too hyped up.
Kyle, you better take all the
camp.
fucking wins you can get.
Bro,
Look.
what?
Look, I'm
Let's
going
just talk
to say
about your Fort Madison 2-1 over FC Tucson, sir.
it was the best of times. You know, Bartman with another banger, man.
Not the
only
best
knows
of
how to score a
times,
banner.
like a goddamn romantic novel.
You can't tell me, oh, you got to soak up all this solo camp time. You got to take what you can get and then take it away from me when I
It
start
was the
going.
best of times.
Cal, you just quoted A Tale of Two Cities.
Right.
And
This isn't Russian lit class, buddy.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
you know, they
You're
allowed
already
another
in the
set
worst
piece
of
goal.
times.
It was not ideal, but no, in all seriousness, Madison's attack that was the best they've looked all season. And it's been progressing that way. Like, they looked good against Charlotte, but they weren't able to kind of get anything in the final third. They looked good for portions against Fuego. And then this was a game where it's like from start to finish, it was like, okay, Madison consistently looked threatening on the attack. They looked like a team that was capable of scoring. And the fact that they were able to get a goal from both of their starting strikers in Bartman and Bakejam, that's good to see. And I think, again, Bartman being the catalyst for that attack. And now that he is getting healthy, now that he's not, fasting for Ramadan and everything, I think we are starting to see more the best of him. Getting a goal and an assist is always good. But I think it was a lot to do with the attack. It just looks more fluid. I think having a more settled starting 11, again, same midfield with Andrew Wheeler-Omniu and Drew Connor kind of being in the middle. You still have Mikey Maldonado on the left. You have Derek Gebhardt on the right with that 4-3-3 kind of setup. It's showing more and more like, okay, we have guys that can bring the ball, and we're seeing a more confident Cassini. And again, that started since that Charlotte Independence game. So Fort Madison's attack is finally showing the progress that I think a lot of us were concerned, like, what the hell is going to happen? And I think I even said, like, if they don't show any attacking competence against Charlotte, then I'll start panicking. Thankfully, they've turned that around. So, no, I think they're just getting more confidence. I think Cassini's starting to play more and more like the guy that we're expecting. I think Bartman's kind of been the one that's picked up the goal scoring. I think Bakejam getting a goal is going to be good for his confidence. And if they can figure out how to defend a fucking set piece, I'll feel a lot better. But they really need to learn how to defend a set piece. That corner they allowed, the ball just went past everyone.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys this question. I guess we can focus a little bit more on Tucson because this is kind of like the burning question that no one's talking about on social media. But is Tucson coach in a hot seat? Is he the first coach in the hot seat so far? I'm not saying like getting fired, but
right.
is he like?
I was gonna say, didn't Fuego
candidate
technically
of
do
hot
that?
seat?
No, technically. Well, I think with them, what you probably would see. So if we remember correctly from last year, Perlman was the coach, transitioned to a fully front office staff position. Then when they had their issues last year, he came back from his front office position to coach the team, got them into the home game for the playoffs before losing to Omaha, and then he kept being the coach. So if anything, he'll probably just move back to a front office role and then have someone else do it. I think he's wearing a lot of hats down in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like all the stats just show that this is not a good Tucson team. And if it wasn't for a freak 2 late goals against Chattanooga and somehow holding on against Tormenta, this is a team that probably doesn't have any win. Like, even in their wins, Tucson has not looked convincing. So this just isn't that good of a team.
Yeah.
Like I think we've all said and compared, like there's no runaway winner at the top of USL League One. There's no bottom tier horrible bad team like in years past over Orlando or whatever. But like Tucson overall is probably the weakest roster out of all the teams in USL League One. And like real quick, we don't gotta spend super long talking about it, but like if you're the head coach of FC Tucson and the summer window is about to open up, like what position are you looking to fix to get this team back on track?
Yeah. Pick one.
A goalie. I guess midfield because of,
Oh, are they going to go the?
I guess like route? Defense because I'm just saying like a goalie because that second goal he should have saved. Another defender because again they keep getting someone sent off as well. A midfielder have some control, maybe a 6 to protect that back line. Maybe another attacker, someone that is capable of consistently being a goal scoring threat. So basically everything.
Yeah. I mean, so I was curious. Last season, Calixto had probably out of all the attackers had the least touches in the box on the front line. This season, he's by far the most. And considering he's the guy who's realistically in the system supposed to be helping link play, that's probably not a good thing. That the people who are supposed to be making runs off of him are not getting those touches in the box. So I think that's a big part of it. That there's a lot of pressure on them, and Calixto is getting touches, but there's no one there to build off of, and he's not necessarily a tried and true finisher, you know. So I think that would be a big thing is figuring out that winger role, or you know, replacing Charlie Dennis because they don't have. I mean, Daniel Bedoya.
That's who they really miss. They really miss. You know what? Honestly, I know we talk about it every week. I know we talk about it every week in the chat, but like the two players in USL Championship that left USL League when they go to the championship, like they need to come back ASAP. It's Shaq Adams and Devin Boyce. Like I'm telling you, if you put Shaq Adams back in this FC Tucson team, Tucson's not as bad as they are now. Like I don't even think Shaq is getting in the team in Charleston. If I'm correct,
if you put Shaq,
he started off here, but I don't think
Greenville and Madison. That is a goal. That is a now like one of the top. Like if you were to put like that would solve both teams' issues. If you put Shaq Adams in Greenville or Madison,
it's over.
Yeah.
Is this what we're doing? Okay.
Look,
what
summer window opening up? We could talk. You know what? We got time. We can talk about it after we finish these games. Let's go ahead. Let's move to your game. 1-1 draw with NoCo. How you feeling? You spoiled the home debut for the club.
Pretty good. Showcat got his first goal. I mean, this team was always getting results.
Oh, no, wait, Showcat got a game?
Yeah. Well, we're like, remember, we had like 4 players called up to national teams. So he started and got his first goal. Yeah, because, you know, on this side of the state, we send players to the national teams for their, you know.
We did
whatever.
too. Not okay.
I said my side of the state. I said my side of the state. Of the state.
Well, I mean,
all right. I was like,
Charlie did as well, but
sure everyone on this had their team had someone get called up.
Not Richmond.
Nah, fam.
We a whole bunch of Americans over here.
None
of us getting called up.
I would love I mean, they were already getting results on the road, whether it was like a grinding out draw or a sneaky win. And this turned out into that grinded out because we scored first. This turned into that grinded out, go for the draw. And now we're tied at the top of the table. And our next game is not for another, 9 days. So we get all of our players back from international duty. And they're coming in rested and in form and playing well and on a streak to play Charlotte. So
that's a game right there.
Yeah.
If we had the budget for like a college game day kind of set, we would be up in Raleigh. We would be there for that game.
Just come on.
All right. You should set it up. I mean, I want to actually.
I will say, with NoCo finally having a home game,
those cameras were shit, by the way. I could barely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, congrats. No. Fuego still has the worst. Noco's is mid. They just got to get rid of that shadow.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this real quick. I think everyone says there's like 4 bad camera angles, right? We have Madison, Chattanooga, Fuego, and Noco, right?
Fuego is not bad. Fuego is just positioned weirdly. It's just positioned weirdly.
That makes it bad.
I got motion sickness.
No.
I saw more of the crowd than I did the players.
Chattanooga is the worst.
If we were in the same room, I'd throw something at you for a comment that.
Chattanooga is the worst. I'm sorry. Also, I also say this because I haven't watched a Fuego game since the U.S. Open Cup. So,
okay, well, yeah. So that was not at where they're playing now. Yeah. So the Open Cup is decent camera, but they're at a new facility now, and it's like in the crowd. What? It's almost like
pretty much almost like I'm pretty sure they have it in the stands.
San Diego, for NWSL, San Diego has theirs in the stands as well, and all you get are the back of people's heads as they're like going towards those wide angles to the corner flags. It's so fucking bad. It's bad.
Fuego had a few people in their capo and a couple drummers go through like the main stand during the Madison game, and I could hear loud and clear the megaphone and the drum, and I could.
Bro, are they playing at a battery park?
And then I look, and they are right there.
What is this?
Yeah, I mean, in that poll, Madison won, but I think Kyle hit that on the head when he said, it's an anti-Madison bias because Madison
really is. Like Madison. Now that Madison switched it, now that Madison switched it,
it's gotten a lot better.
Because last year, Madison and Chattanooga, they had the same angle. But the problem with Madison was they had that camera underneath the main camera. And then when they were down here, they just all of a sudden switched to that. You just would get like a quick shot of the guy's ass as he ran the other way. And it's like, nothing.
The problem is they also use a forklift. They use a scissor lift. Like they're using a lift on that side. And that was the problem. Now they went over to the main stand. It's higher up and more stable. It has improved. It's not perfect, but it is better.
Of the 4, I think Madison now is the biggest problem with Chattanooga, besides that blind spot where they go and break Dami Villader's ribs, is the fact that the sun sets right in your eyes, so everything looks like a fucking Ridley Scott movie, and that's not cool. That makes it really hard to watch shit. So I'm between that and Noco for 2 or 3. Just because the Noco one with all the heavy shadows, but that's their temporary place. So maybe it'll get better. But Fuego's the worst because you can't see the fucking game half the game.
And I think they're working on it, but it was bad. I mean, like literally in the Greenville game, there's a head, like the camera was like here, and this dude you missed the goal. They tried to do the replay of the goal, and it was just the guy's head, and it was like, well.
One of the biggest disappointment about the Fuego games is I follow the El Squadrendo Fuego on social media, which is like their drum line, and they sound really good. And they posted some, Instagram stories of them in the stands. They sound amazing. They sound like unlike pretty much anything else we have in League One. But you can't hear them because there's no sound.
You know why?
The only sound's the announcer, which. I don't know why that is, but that is weird to me. But yeah, I would say Fuego's the worst if we're ranking, but it's good that everyone's getting better. Madison was on the list. I don't think Madison's on the list anymore, but you just kind of need some small tweaks. I mean, really the biggest thing is Chattanooga should put it up in the press box, but then you would see the highway, which the stands, but
it's a cool stadium, so I wouldn't be mad about it if you got that full aerial shot. But still, there are way too many bad camera angles in this goddamn league. But it's also League One, so
right. Yeah, but Madison, who maybe is the most vain franchise, made that sacrifice, and now we see the luxury boxes that I think are just like intermodal containers that they opened up. But I don't know. I just think that's the big thing. It's small sacrifice that everyone can make to make sure that people watching at home have a better experience. But regardless, I don't have an attendance number for Colorado, but anecdotally, I heard that it was pretty well attended. So big for them too. They didn't get their win, but they got a result at home and got to see their first home goal, so that's pretty cool for them. And yeah.
All right. So that wraps up last week. I got the list right here. Points per game, where every team stands. It does not matches the table as it sits right now. Number one is Fuego. They sit on 1.63 points per game. Next, we got a three-way tie for second, but Greenville leads that pack. Charlotte, and then Eboni, your people in Northern Carolina.
Did you say Northern Carolina?
I did, and then I realized I was just going to keep going. We got Chips is alone at third with 1.42. Richmond and South Georgia are tied for fourth on 1.3. NoCo's at fifth. Chattanooga sixth. Fort Madison is seventh. Cal better start missing out on this chat. And Tucson holds up the table at eighth. So any surprises in that table to start off with? Any surprises? I think the biggest surprise for me is Charlotte's in second, honestly. And Chattanooga sixth. Because I would have had it the other way around. But there's
points per game?
If you would have told me at the start of the year that Charlotte at this point would be tied for second and Chattanooga will be like near the bottom, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you meant like as it stands. No. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yes, because of where I had Charlotte being at the beginning of the year. I had them in League 2 at that point, so I'm kind of shocked. Again, I still don't know this fucking team or like what kind of identity they have, and I don't know if we're gonna figure it out before my game against them on the 18th. But fuck, it's been kind of cool. I mean, to see that three out of 6 teams come from the Carolinas that are in the playoff spots right now. It's kind of cool.
Well, they invented soccer, right?
Oh my God, they're gonna be worse than like Seattle fans, and I'm a Seattle fan. Yeah. So they went 2 fucking games, and all of a sudden,
I will say, I think Brandon kind of in our pregame show kind of talked about this a lot, but especially at the beginning of the season, it was like they didn't even have enough people to put together a pickup team. No. Let alone like a full 11 versus 11 side. And so it's kind of like, well, yeah, they're going to do what NCFC did last year. You know, they're going to do one big announcement the day before their first game and say, hey, we signed, 16 academy guys and that's our team. But, they didn't. They just kept signing guys and guys out of nowhere. I think probably what it was, if I had to guess, is I think they had a lot of guys that were testing the waters for USLC and either didn't like the money or didn't like the team or didn't like something about it or didn't get a contract and said, hey, well, I'll just go back to Independence, play another year. So I think that's probably what happened because all of those guys were announced late. And then you had that Ibarra announcement from nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was the one that threw me off the most. I'm like, oh, they're really about to just be like a farm team. And they're just about to play all the guys that aren't going to get minutes at Charlotte FC, and it's just going to be a beatdown.
And they honestly still might be. I mean, like, you look at some of the guys they brought in, it's insane. Like, the quality of players that they have at their disposal. And how are they paying for that? I got no idea. Like, I mean, it's crazy.
It's a matter, like, I think they got 3 or 4 guys out on from loan from Charlotte FC. And that's like the bulk of their talent.
Yeah.
So if you strip that away, like what are you really looking at the Charlotte roster?
No one knows because I don't know where the signings came from. I just know that they were all of a sudden on the field, and then they had 11 players, and we were just like, where the fuck did this come from? And then all of a sudden they're winning just about every game, and then and now you're in second, or tied for first in a 3-way tie. The fuck?
Yeah. It's there. So Chip, I'm going to take your point about what 5 teams. So I'm going to say a team name, And real quick, you guys just tell me the first thing that comes to your brain, what do they need, okay? You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Tucson.
Everything.
A 6, a defensive mid.
Yeah.
Okay, defensive mid. Anyone else? Okay.
Charlie Davis.
A miracle.
I mean, I think honestly, that's a good point because when they were in the spot last year, which is identical to the spot they're in now, they actually had a lot of guys that were super talented. Everyone had pegged as pretty good guys. This year, they don't.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think really, like Kyle said, like a 6 would be great. You know, even like a 10 maybe to try to connect the offense and the defense and do something, but they need a lot more than one piece. I think
I would say they need a defensive midfielder. They need someone that can just break up play because they're not going to be the juggernaut scoring team they were last year. So you gotta have to rely on defense, and they don't have anyone that can just sit in there and just break up play.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought they did. You know, I mean, they brought in like 3 or 4 players who they thought were going to be that, and the spacing in the midfield just hasn't been there, and it's been the defenders have been left out to dry constantly.
Yeah. All right, next team for Madison. What do they need?
A set piece defending coach. A coach that can teach set pieces.
Kyle, we don't got no money for that in League One, sir.
I'm just saying, like, that's what they need.
I mean, they also need a striker. Like,
no, Bartman's fine. They got it. No, they
won
need
the game and all of a sudden, okay.
He's got 3 goals.
I think Madison should use some of the shirt money for whatever shirt they announce next and just hire like a really good inspirational speaker.
Maybe that'll help with the set piece defending.
Something. I mean, 'cause so much of the Madison stuff is, you know, I'm not the biggest Madison fan. I don't think that's going to shock anybody, but they do stuff and you watch it and you're like, how the hell did they let that happen? And you just like scratch your head. And I think a lot of it is, it seems a lot of it's just like some lapses or, you know, to quote Brandon, they don't got the dog in them. You jokingly say that, but
yeah.
I will say, shout out Taylor Bailey. He leaves a Madison legend. Never lost a game.
Hey, man.
That man played 1 game. I'm not kind of a goddamn legend.
Mm-hmm.
He's a legend.
But even then, maybe you just need to bring in some veteran talent guy to come in and just whip everyone.
Never lost.
Yeah. Ross Madison fired their inspirational speaker.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Kyle. This might be a far shot, but I think you guys need a quality left back, like a good quality overlapping left back that could just cross balls in. That's what I say. I think it's been a while since y'all have had that. I think outside of y'all first year, you guys have not had a left back that could just bomb up and down the field and just cross balls in and just pull defenses will stretch. And ever since you guys haven't had that, like your attack's been pretty like meh. So
they call it mid. Oh damn. Okay.
I mean, if you saw that for Madison Tech year 1, it wasn't like great or anything, but they had like a left. I can't remember who the left back was, but
the problem, I'm still.
You can get up and down the field. Yeah. Who do you want to say? My bad. All right. Next team up, Chattanooga. What do they need? I'm gonna make it real simple for y'all. An attacking mid. They need a creator.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
They need a creator.
Yeah.
Like so. I mean, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say a mid, like anybody in midfield, because whether they need someone to stop it on the defensive side or create on the offensive side, still somebody's got to be there to be that leader.
The problem with Chattanooga is they have guys that are like bullies, but they're asking their bullies to be creators, and they're not that.
There's also no cohesion in between those bullies and those creators.
Yeah,
like there needs to be that central midfielder, not defensive, in a sense, because I mean they're a good defensive team. They're bypassing the creativity to just hoof it up into the box and hope it goes through. Hope something happens, and that's just not how the game is played right now. So even in League One.
Yeah, true. What do you guys say about Chatt? Anything different?
No, I mean, I think that's the tough thing with that is like they've got a lot, they've got a ton of creators, and the problem is they're not maximizing them. You got like Mo Espinosa and Ray Ortiz who are, I mean, they're putting in a lot of good balls, but they're not doing anything with them. And again, they're also that to your point about linking centrally. I don't think, a lot of that is coming from crosses from those guys instead of central progression. And yeah, I mean, if I was gonna bring someone in again, I would go a striker still.
Probably. Yeah, I mean that's not bad.
If they're not gonna, I mean, it just seems like they don't know what they want right there. And
are you saying someone that is like not a 5 to 10 goal striker?
Yeah, I mean, they have that. They have two of them. In Teixeira and Galindres. The question is, what are they looking to do? How are they looking to play? And I'm not sure either of them are. I don't know. That's what if they're looking for.
Yeah, true. All right, last team, NOCO.
Home games.
Yeah,
it's pretty much it. Home games. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. They just need to play at home.
Just games in general. They're with Omaha playing 7 games. Most of the leagues play 2 to 3 games more than them. So a lot of their situation is just having to travel all the time, plus the Open Cup games and everything else. They're just, I think they'll be fine. They're probably a little bit. I think at the beginning of the year, I said they'd be like Greenville would be 1, they'd be 2. I don't think anymore that they'd be that high, but they're probably hosting a playoff game, I think. And if not, if they don't make the playoffs, I think I'd be pretty disappointed. But I think they're a quality side. They just need to play some damn games.
Which new team this year do you put the most faith in to get into the playoffs? And which new team do you have the least amount of faith in to get into the playoffs?
Ooh. I have faith that probably Charlotte gets in, and the least amount of faith that.
Say that again.
No.
I was gonna say I'm about ready to pull that reverse Uno card on you.
Right.
And that hurt me to say. So
I know it did. That's why I should say it again.
Hell no. And who do I think won't make it? Are we Fuegos? Are they really a new team? I mean,
yeah. Because if you count Charlotte's a new team, Fuego's a new team.
Okay. I would go Fuego to not make it.
Okay. What about y'all guys? What y'all got?
I would say I wouldn't be shocked if Charlotte doesn't end up making the playoffs. Okay. I would say I'd be less shocked if Fuego doesn't make the playoffs, which I know certain people are going to disagree with. I think of the 3 new teams, I think NOCO to me seems like the team that's most likely to make it. But I think Charlotte's going to backslide, especially if they start getting their good players picked off. I just don't think they have a lot of depth.
Yeah. Brandon, Kyle?
I agree with Ebony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kyle, what about you?
Kyle's probably about 2 minutes behind us. His internet's catching up still.
Yeah. Him and his Spectrum bullshit.
Look at Kyle's face. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, Kyle's trying to catch up to real time with us. I'm probably going to shock y'all with this. I have the least amount of faith in Fuego. I have the least amount of faith in them.
That's fair, though.
I agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, they're not a bad team. I think if they miss the playoffs, it'd probably be like 7th or 8th. But he goes down the last. I don't trust them enough. The team that I have the most faith in is NOCO. Like, I think NOCO, once they get settled in the home, it's going to be a hard place. It's going to be like Union Omaha 2.0, just with the amount of talent they have and like what I've seen of them so far. So
they'll kind of have that friendly confines of having a compact arena like Omaha has. That despite it being Omaha's third year in the league, team just can't figure it out yet.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a fun part. So we'll go ahead. We'll move on to this week's slate of games coming up. Oddly enough, no midweek game, so that's fun. 5 games in the docket. We'll start off Richmond Kicker, Charlotte Independence. Guys, I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction because we'll never get those right, but more so, what are the key parts of this game?
For Richmond, have someone who isn't a center back score.
I mean, I don't care who scores.
I was going to say, he don't give a shit.
I don't care.
I think oh, go ahead, Chip.
No, you go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say pinning those wingbacks back, and when you don't, play over them. Like y'all always love to do, play a long ball out wide to Bentley or whoever, Bima, anybody out wide, and I think you're in. That's the back three for them is it. I feel like it's going to get stretched, and you're either going to force those wingbacks back and progress freely, or you're going to play over them. And I think this isn't.
You have to cause as much chaos as they cause.
Yeah.
So you just have to whatever that looks like for you guys, whether that means putting 2 up top instead of 1 because they're not going to be used to that, or just I don't know, but you got to fight chaos with chaos and hope your chaos exceeds theirs.
Right. So I'll give you 2 outlooks on this game from both teams. One, Richmond, and it's not even the players on the field. It comes down to Darren. If Darren can avoid overthinking this game, he win this game. He'll win it. Because if you look at it, games against Union Omaha and North Carolina, he overthinks it. I don't know why. My fault. He overthinks it way too much, and it leads to stupid results. But when we play Greenville, Darren is like a Champions League manager, and he knows to pull every right card. As long as he avoids overthinking it, he can beat Charlotte. If you're Charlotte, I think the key thing is to force the fullbacks from Richmond to create the play. If you force them to create play, Richmond is not going to be able to break you down. If you clog the middle and say all right, we're not going to give you Bolaños, we're not going to give you Neil, we're not going to give you Tizagi, and you force Stephen Payne and Stu Ritchie to be it's on you, that is not going to happen. So that's where it comes down to me. Kyle, are you back with us, or are you still 5 minutes in the other realm?
Not other realm.
Yeah, he's still back in the other realm.
Yeah. Sorry. What? My internet has been complete ass.
Get off a Spectrum, my dude.
So, next game coming up, Fort Madison, Greenville. Guys, how do we think this game play out? Who is the key performer of this game?
Jake Keegan, hat trick, baby.
Yes. This is the revenge tour for Keegan. I'm here for it.
It's Don for me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man.
No,
4K dose.
No, I will honestly say,
bro, if Keegan and Don score against y'all,
Aaron Walker is going to be the one that Ford Madison.
Bro, how many Ford Madison players are in Greenville right now? 3?
All the good ones, apparently.
Aneurysm.
Hey, yo!
I'm loving it. Is not me this time, and this is great.
I have Charter. I have Spectrum. This isn't happening to me. I'm just saying.
Spectrum hates black people. I don't know what to tell you. Spectrum hates black people.
The only thing better than Kyle
people
being froze if he showed up in 2 windows and we got double.
Just looking at his face.
Kyle's on. That's the face of a man who's about to spend 2 hours with customer service after this call's over.
I'm running a speed test first and foremost, and then I will figure it out from there. I don't know what the fuck happened. So what have I missed?
Oh, you missed a lot.
30 minutes.
Chip said every good player for Fort Madison has gone to Greenville, which is probably true.
Who would you say is your like key man for Madison this week?
For Madison, I would
go to Greenville next summer and thrive.
Oh God. But in all seriousness, I think for Madison, I think a lot of it is going to fall on Drew Connor because, I mean, last time Madison played Greenville, they got their ass kicked left and right. And I think a lot of that is going to be trying to slow down Aaron Walker, not let him dictate the play for Greenville. And I think that is what hurt Madison a lot last year is they just let Greenville dribble however they wanted. They didn't put any pressure. So, yeah, I'm going to say Drew Connor is going to be the key guy for Madison because he's probably going to be the one that's going to be tasked with trying to break up as much play or force more pressure on the Greenville midfielders.
Can we rank Walking 90 host internet connections?
And the thing is, I'm normally fine. Like, normally my internet is fine. Today has just decided no.
Oh, man.
And Ross, to answer your other question, I have no clue who leads Madison in chances created. I would probably guess it's probably going to be a defender. It's going to piss me off. But
I know who it is.
Of course you do.
I'm gonna go Bartman. I'm gonna go Bartman just because I feel like he's the one that's been most central in any attacking choice. Who is it?
It's Mikey.
I can see that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I figured it wasn't Gebhardt because he's been out too long, and it wasn't Cassini because he didn't really start play well until like the last 3 matches. But good on Mikey.
Got him as the bust of the year. He hasn't done anything. And he was hyped up to be like the guy.
Give it time. It's all right. Give it time. I
will say for this game though, it's definitely one of those ones where it's going to be a nice test for Greenville, despite Ford Madison's position. They're a staunch defensive team. Is Greenville going to be able to crack that with some of this new swagger they have on offense? And if they can't, maybe Madison sneaks in a result. I think this is definitely probably the game that is the most telling for both of the two teams playing it this week.
It's crazy enough that both of these teams don't have a goddamn striker, and this is the game where both strikers can be like, "Oh shit, I can score."
Oh yeah, and that's the crazy thing too is these teams could both be in different positions going into this game if one or two things went different in other games.
Yeah,
which that's kind of a team who scores the most is going to win, but Greenville's, found some form and Madison's kind of lost some. And, it wasn't very long ago that Greenville was the bottom of the table. Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still under the impression that I was a little too early with my prediction of Greenville missing the playoffs, but we'll hold that one in until the end of the season.
That prediction not going to come true until Harkes is at Charlotte.
Give that 3 weeks.
Harkes not going to the end of the season. You know that's not going to happen.
Yeah. He's probably going to Charlotte either.
Yeah, he's probably going to DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like straight up, that man going.
Let's be real. I mean, I hate it, but yeah.
No, I think they'll announce it mid-season.
I just want you to know I'm going to be so
classic Bundesliga announcement
on Twitter. Hella ignorant.
I'm okay with that.
Gio gonna hate me because I've been calling this for the better part of 3 years. I've been slowly pushing this man out the door.
Every time
Harkes ever looked at it and been like, "Who the fuck is pushing me to go to DC?" Svi, go there. They need you.
Why is he sending me edible arrangements that says "From DC with love"?
Hey, I shouldn't do that. This cinema edible arrangement.
just DC from DC. Telegram you up? I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh no!
Just send him a whole edible arrangement. Like, hey, boo. What the fuck sent me this?
Oh man.
Or send him DC housing magazines.
Right? Just send him to like random like pieces of mail. You're like, hey, you looking for an apartment? What about a condo? And colleges are great.
Find some like
20 back from Scotland.
Find some like 20-year-old real estate agent who's just out of college and be like, hey, this is real. I'm John Harkes' agent. He's looking for a house in DC. You just need to keep just
really
sending him stuff.
I should really just like start catfishing people like, hey John, you know, you can move your bank account up here. You want a Tesla? You can make
You get him a Metro card.
Hey John, just take a picture of like the coaching spot and be like, hey John, this could be yours if you just say yes. And each week it's to get progressively wilder with the tweets.
I feel like as this happens, Charlotte's going to be playing Marvin's Room outside his window as it goes down.
Oh, bro.
Charlotte's going to be outside. It's going to be like whatever that movie is with that boombox. It's just going to be Marvin's Room.
Charlotte going to start acting like Drake and just start crying.
Charlotte's just going to DM, I'm just saying you can do better.
Charlotte's gonna DM his wife and just be like, "Yo, I heard you were bored."
Charlotte's just gonna slide in the DMs and be like, "So, what are we doing here? What are we doing?"
There's a joke I want to make, but
I said it and then I heard it and then I stopped. I was like,
yeah, I was gonna say there's a joke I want to make right here, but I don't think any of the Greenville fans would ever talk to me again if I made it.
I'm not gonna talk to you ever again, Chip.
I'm sorry.
The best part is I can say that and everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I would have put it to Brandon. I'm so sorry.
Personal growth is great. Yada yada yada. But no, I mean I think again,
bro, we said nice at 69 when you said it earlier. Come on now.
Personal growth. Okay.
Bro, I'm talking about catfishing John Harkes' whole life to move this man to DC United. Like what? This man got a whole family and kids down in Greenville. Probably a beautiful home. And I'm talking about just uprooting it and going to DC to pay higher taxes and live in shitty traffic on 95.
Someone's gonna ask John Harkes' family to run for Congress. Be like, yeah, you should be a congressman. You should be a congressperson.
You're going to DC anyways.
Right.
If
Man,
you really
how do you feel about gun control, you think you can get it done? You think you're going to 4v3 there?
If you really hated the guy, you'd start sending him like Chicago beef kits and stuff.
Ross just said that he wouldn't be opposed to coaching overseas, which is feels like a classic football manager thing you'd say. But maybe he's going to go coach Dundee United.
Look, he's got to cross like 2 lakes to get to DC from Charlotte.
He's going to have to go get his passport renewed. Yeah. He's got to go to DC for that.
I'll be DC.
Got to get the visa. Got to get the visa and everything situated.
I'm low key, man. I'm telling you, yo.
I'm slowly passports are already like
95 north.
Passports
starts
like
with Charlotte, and then we go to DC, and then once Philadelphia Union coach leave, we go to Philly, and then we plug him into the Red Bull network, and then we send him across the Hudson and YCFC, and then
I thought when you said Red Bull, you're going to send him to Salzburg, and then he was going to go to Leipzig, get fired from there, end up at
and then he goes to NYCFC, and then he gets fired from there. He goes to Man City, comes back. Bruce Arena has retired at this point.
He hasn't.
Did you
damn well he hasn't.
Can he retire?
Well, Bruce Arena is like goddamn Dracula. We don't know if he's dead or alive yet.
I feel like he's contractually obligated not to retire.
Did you just plan this man's entire career?
Yogi's been thinking about this. If you keep you'd see like a cork board with like strings and everything on it, like some sort of like serial killer shit.
I need him to get out of Greenville.
I feel like Miami's just gonna quietly just like go up and be like, just come to Miami. It's okay.
Yeah.
Fuck all that shit. It's Miami.
When we're all called up to testify at the
like, hey, I can fire the coach for Atlanta for you. What kind of scandal you want?
Yo, leave Pineda out of this.
This man getting fired at the end of the year. You know how Atlanta is. They fire a coach every 2 years. Don't nothing change. All right, we got hella sidetracked.
Anyway,
all right. NoCo versus South Georgia Tormenta. That's the next game we got coming up at 9. NoCo gets another home game. Important part of that match.
Figuring out who's going to control like the tempo.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. I think if Sterling has to get on the scoreboard. I think Sterling, correct me wrong, only got 1 goal this year. Yeah, he got to figure out how to score. They got a lot of guys that are very dribbly. Like I compare it to like OKC where they have Westbrook, Durant, Harden. Like every guy can create, but no one can like really finish. Like,
well, and that's the thing that's interesting to me because like even what's his face, Kingsford, that dude when he was in college he led the country in shots, and this season he hasn't hardly done anything.
No.
And part of that, I guess, is playing on the right wing because he played mostly as like an attacking midfielder. But like, that's been the most bizarre thing to me. Like the dude shot like every other second during college, and he hasn't really been. Maybe he just hasn't been able to do that.
Man, you know what? Honestly, I would love to see Micheletto with this team because that's the only thing Micheletto was missing. It's just like some talent in front of him.
Mm.
Oh,
and that's the thing too. They lost Busua.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was key.
He was. Oh, did anyone know how long he's out for?
I think it's a long time.
Ooh, that's not good. But yeah, I think I agree with your point about like whoever really can control midfield for long periods of time in this game is going to win this game. That's what it's going to come down to. Next thing we got coming up, 10 p.m. late kickoff. FC Tucson and Chip's Union Omaha. Chip, we're going to set the over-under this at 3. Is that good or bad?
3 goals or cards?
Is that how many beers I have in the first half when we don't score somehow?
Yeah, no problem.
all the things. So, yes, all the things. Chip, I'm going to let you start because
I don't know.
Like...
I think that's the big thing is like besides the Fuego game, at home, we've had trouble scoring. I think if you're Omaha going into super important short week, because after this game, we've got Greenville, and then we got SKC, and then we have Tormenta on the road. So you have a big week. And despite like how well we've played in the Open Cup, we really haven't found our footing yet in league play. And Tucson is not good. If you're Omaha, this is one of those games where if you're an Omaha fan watching this game, speaking as an Omaha fan, I just want Mims like open up the throttle and just say, let's just run it up on them, boys. Like, let's get 3-0, 3-1. Who cares? Let's just score some goals. But, is that going to happen? I don't know. And I think that's the scary thing is we found if you go out to the desert, weird shit happens. And I don't know. I shouldn't be nervous for this game, but I am. But I do hope Omaha scores a lot of goals.
See, and on the opposite, I feel like this game will be over by like the 30th minute. Like I feel like Omaha, this is the game that Omaha will get right. I feel like Tucson is you need a result, you need things to go right. That's your team.
Mm-hmm. And because I could almost see it being the other way around, where we make our subs at like the 65th, 70th minute, bring on some different attackers, and then that's when things open up. And maybe it's 1-0 before then, and then it opens up. But yeah, I mean, if I'm an Omaha fan, I think you really, really want like a huge offensive result. Get the guys confident going into Greenville, get the guys confident going into SKC. And I just think that's the big thing is we need to really start showing the league that we are the defending. Make that statement and hopefully it carries on. But fuck it. Yeah, 3-0 Omaha. 3-1. 3-1 Omaha. 3-1 Omaha.
There you go.
So,
all right.
I'm gonna regret saying that. I already know it.
Nah, I honestly believe that it comes down to which Omaha is showing up. Like, is it going to be the defensive Omaha so that you can like preserve because you do have Greenville and then you have SKC, or are you guys just like going out and attacking because you're just tired and you want some damn goals? So this game is really going to be decided by like what game are you getting up for? Are you taking it one at a time, or are you looking that far ahead?
I think y'all start off with the press, and then after that, like once y'all got that press instilled, Tucson's not going to know how to react, and I think y'all go for the juggler from there. Last game, the latest game of the night, 10:30.
Chaotic. The most chaotic.
Yes.
Fuego versus. Ooh. Fuego versus Wolves. Yo, Fuego probably got the most 2 chaotic games in a week span. They got this, and then next week they got Tucson.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say we normally say it for the end of the show, but do we all agree this is gonna be Chaos Game of the Week?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna see you're gonna see the rare double flop.
On the same sideline. Boy.
Yeah. Well, considering the last time these two teams played, there was a red card that might not have been a red card. It's going to be chaotic. There's going to be another red card.
Yeah, I mean this game's going to be a shit show. Like,
look, if y'all remember, all the goals were scored in the first half. It was 4 goals. All 4 were scored in the first half. 2 within stoppage time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be stupid.
This will be the prime. I am peak wedding drunk, and this game will go on, and I'm just gonna laugh and check every once in a while.
So are we watching this game as a family?
Ooh.
I won't be part of it.
No,
I can't guarantee. No,
I want to, but I'll be hopefully coming back from Richmond. I mean, not Richmond, DC at that time. So
yeah, we should pick one of these games though to watch because. Omaha
dropping off John Harkes.
Yes. So. We'll do it for John Harkes' farewell game.
But no, this game's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be a tightly contested draw.
But what's that draw number? Is it 3-3, 4-4? What we got?
1-1 with 2 red cards.
Damn.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be crazy. And those Central Valley fans are going to need every ounce of those $16 beers.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
I called the game last night with Kyle with Ford Madison getting over Tucson. So I'm gonna call again this week. I got Chattanooga. I'll go whatever. 3-2 Fuego. 3-2 over Fuego.
Wow.
So
and Chattanooga comes from behind.
See, that I can see.
They come from behind.
That I can see. I can see Fuego getting an early goal.
I think it's just gonna be way too much. You saying 3-2 Chatter? I'm saying 3-2 Fuego.
Really? Okay.
I think there's gonna be a little bit of home cooking, so it just comes out at the end, and then it's another red card. That's where the second red card is gonna come from, and the refs are gonna have to be escorted out of the stadium by police.
We're going true South America vibes.
Yeah. How chaos you want to get?
I do wonder what is the most chaotic game we've ever seen on the field, like not scoreline wise, but just on the field.
I mean, I know mine.
I feel like a North Texas Chattanooga game is probably up there at the top of that list.
Well, mine wasn't when we were League One. Mine is definitely like, you want to know how old it's NASL days. So that is my most chaotic game. That was versus Cosmos. Fuck the Cosmos.
Are they even a team anymore?
Are the Cosmos? I mean, their fanboys seem like they are a team. I don't think they've suited up in like 3 years. Or if they have, it's like because they jump leagues every season.
It was the bad penny of U.S. soccer.
Yeah. Ugh. They're so annoying.
All right, y'all. Any last things before we wrap up? We finally done a full 90-minute episode. We haven't done one of these in a while.
I know, right? Shout out to Bradford for Coach of the Month. Let's go. You told me.
But.
Oh, damn. It's the curse. No.
The curse.
Who won in April?
No.
They did April, May combined, I think. Didn't they?
I don't know.
Because this was May.
Was it Charlotte?
Because we have to remember, John Harkes did win it in September or October, whatever the last regular season month was.
Yeah, that's true. No. It was Tucson coach. And Tucson went out to Omaha and they announced it got drumsticks too. Yep.
I was so excited and now I'm just so sad.
Yeah, I don't want
No, Elliot. No, yeah. Perlman won it in September, and then Harkes won in October of last year.
Yep.
And then Harkes loses in the final.
Yep. Bro,
Yep.
I'm telling you, bro, it's the curse.
And
they started off slow.
Yeah, and Ian Cameron won it in April. Tormenta won it in April.
And let's see, what was Tormenta's record in May?
Not great.
Let's see, hold on. In May, they won
Tormenta
1 game and lost 3 and drew 1. They were 1-1-3.
I was so excited for my coach. Yes. Y'all just ruined everything. Black people ruined everything.
Yes. But Kyle, on the beer prices, you can buy, and we all know how high grocery prices are right now. You can buy.
Beer prices too high out there for them to be paying $60 and gas. No, sorry.
Mm-hmm. You can buy steak in Omaha for half the price per ounce of a beer in Fresno.
That's
you can buy
stupid.
2 blunts in Richmond for the price of a beer. Okay.
I can buy a 10-ounce bacon wrap fillet for $8.
How dare you?
So I just want to say,
I'm just laughing because I was like, oh yeah, that's like for 32 ounce, right? Because in Madison, that would you get 32 ounce beers,
or at least a 25. I thought it was at least a 25, and it's like, nope, those are tall boys. And then you're a real idiot if you're buying the 11.2 Michelob Ultra Slim can for $9.
Yeah, you're really getting screwed over.
See, that's when you just decide. I don't know if they got a tailgate in the parking lot. That's what tailgating needs. That's what you need tailgating for.
It's $20 to get in the tailgate lot.
What the fuck?
Oh,
yeah.
What the fuck? What are we doing?
Look,
that is
I
when
know
you
we
just start.
joke that Ford Madison is selling all this merch as drug money, but I think we need to look at the Fuego.
Yeah, Fuego might be.
Like these prices are a little bit questionable.
I saw someone make a comment, and it was essentially, "Wow, Fuego's really trying to buy that stadium straight cash."
Right, straight cash. I just want to say this. Your next 3 games: Charlotte, Fuego, Greenville.
Yeah. I was confident against Charlotte. I'm still good. I'm confident against Charlotte.
I feel like you should be more confident against Greenville because I feel like North Carolina's played Greenville well lately.
Bro, it's Charlotte, and they're one of our biggest rivals. They can get fucked. That's a win. That's a big win. And it's on Juneteenth. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can't let Charlotte win on Juneteenth.
No. That is not only is it homophobic, it is racist.
Say in fairness, I don't think you can let NCFC win on Juneteenth.
like we're winning that game for the culture. And
Ross, Fuego might be paying 2 head coaches. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing.
Coaches, a whole front office they got fired.
Yeah.
Oh.
They got some bills to pay, but
seriously, $16 is ridiculous,
bro. I'm still talking to $25 for parking. Like parking, what? Does that come with a scooter?
Well, again, because that's like the thing about Omaha. The Omaha fans always get into a lather about our beer prices.
Bro, Richmond fans we got pissed over $5 parking.
Yeah,
we started parking on the curb. It was like we're not paying $5.
We're walking,
bro. Absolutely.
I could not fathom trying to pay for parking. It's like, you know what? I'll take my chances and park on the street somewhere.
How much are the tickets to a Fuego game?
I think they were $20.
Oh, okay, that's
parking costs more than a ticket to the game
in the supporter section,
bro.
So you're legit spending at least $45 a game.
No, bro, you're spending $50 tax.
And if you buy beer, and I'm sure if you bring kids.
Hold on, let's go to this parking ticket. That's already $50.
Yep.
Then if you get a drink, that's like what?
16.
Six, so you're looking at 66, 60, 68. Then gas? Bro, that's
in Cali?
Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
So it's $20 to sit in the supporter section, and then the cheapest seats are $28, And then field side is $75. And if you want to sit midline, it's $35.
All that for no lights?
They got lights out there, don't they?
At Fuego? No. Yes.
Yeah,
They had to get lights this year, right?
Well, because I was gonna say, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, because they're at a
So
college facility.
I'm literally almost dropping anywhere between 100 to 120 for one person to see third division soccer. Y'all have a good night. I'm out. If we catch y'all guys in the next show, we'll holler at y'all next week. Be easy, be safe. That's stupid. That's stupid.